everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to 47 games reviewed in who knows how many minutes. These are going to be real quick, from the gut, short reactions to various games and what I think about them. Some of them I have or will do a full review of. Some will get a short review, and some you'll never hear me mention their name again. I decided this time, because I'm getting more and more heated as time goes by, we'll end with the worst and start with the best. So we're going to start with some 9s out of 10s, and we'll end with the 1, 2. So here we go. 47 games. Ready, set, go. All right, Cretaceous Rails. This game, which is the biggest complaint I hear about it when I teach it to people, is where can I buy it? This is a game that mixes dinosaurs and trains to a really good, just comes out great. The mechanism of choosing workers by placing workers between two actions, and those are the two actions you get. Fantastic. 9 out of 10. Continuing on with our 9s, we have Hot Streak, an amazing racing game about mascots. It's silly, it's stupid. I've already played it 30 times this year. Great, doofy, fun game. Orbit, a racing game from Reiner Knizia, a new game in which you're trying to hit a bunch of planets that are orbiting around. Each turn you'll play a card that moves the planets, can move you, and also give you some energy, which gives you more movement. The planets rotating, jumping from one to the best, really a lot of fun. All right, an 8.5 to Core of Discovery. So this is based on the Manifest Destiny graphic novels, which are dark and grim and very interesting, actually, about Lewis and Clark fighting minotaurs and mummies and all sorts of things. This is based on that, but it is a cooperative logic game, very well put together. You're all working together, moving across the map. It's a much smaller game than you might imagine, but very thinky, 8.5. All right, here are my 8s. 3 chapters. This is a game in which you play through 3 chapters. You're essentially drafting fairy tale characters, and then you play them in a pseudo trick-taking way. And if you match other people's cards, like if I have Beauty and you have Beast, I'll get points. And then in the 3rd chapter, you play all the cards you played in front of you, and if they match, then you'll get points. So if I play Beauty, but I also have Beast, I get points. So some interesting concepts. Positano, this is a game in which you are building these resorts next to an ocean, and you want to block other people. Very mean, in-your-face style game, but it's also very short. Great components, nice little auction style, real quick, fast, and snappy. I like it a lot. And then Primates. Primates is a game that looks like Ape Wingspan. It's not quite, but it is about collecting monkeys. It's a very short game. In fact, it's almost too short, although the designer emailed me to just play 2 more rounds, and I thought that's a pretty good way to solve that problem. Very simple game, going around, moving, taking some actions, rolling dice to move, but also using that to collect. It's just, there's some really cool concepts here. I'm a big fan of it. And then Zenith, a nice back-and-forth 2-player game, which is basically like 6 different tugs of war, and you're playing characters there, and there's 3 different ways to play each card. It just has almost a classic feel to it. So those were all my 8s. Here we go with the 7.5s. Lynx, this is a game where you're dropping Tetris shapes into a board and trying to connect one side to the other, or or have the biggest group at the end. So that's kind of an interesting back and forth, very simple, light game. Panda Spin. This is a ladder climbing or card shedding game. You're trying to get rid of the cards from your hand, but when someone else beats you, you're going to kind of put cards back in your hand, but then you can spin them, and they're better when you spin them. So it's kind of interesting, really beautiful cards. Rhymes with Duck is a party game in which you're trying, someone says a word, snack, and everyone writes a word that rhymes with it, and you're trying to match other people. Very simple, easy, family-style party game. Those are my 7.5s. Here we go on a pile of 7s. We have All Aboard. This is a small game from DeVere about putting animals on boats. I guess there's multiple Noah's Arks or what have you. But each animal has a special ability. If you like Beastie Bar, this has a little bit of that feeling to it, as each animal might push some other ones off on other boats. Box Off. This is a little solo abstract game where you're pulling the pegs off of a board, but you can only do it when they're in a perfect square with each other or a rectangle of some sorts, and then eventually you can't pull any more off. I like it. And then we have En route. This is a flip and right game from Crowd in which you're going to be moving around the city. So you're making a little path, moving through, trying to see as much stuff as you can. And there's different things give you points. Everything gives points. You just have to have more points than everybody else. First Class Letters from Peter Hayward. This is a game in which you roll some dice and you use them to make a word, but there's another die rolled and you cannot use that die in the word that you make. Very basic, very simple word game, but just works there. Then we have Graft, which is the drafting game that's matching the upcoming game from Ivy Studios called Tend. Graft is basically using the same thing. Now, Tend is an amazing game, but that's not out yet. Graft is still pretty good, though. You're just collecting stuff. My only negative would be you might take cards deliberately just so someone else doesn't get them, which happens in drafting. It's going to happen more often in Graft. How many what? How many Taylor Swift's tall is the Statue of Liberty? How many Tic Tacs tall is a cat? That's the kind of questions you get in this game. You just guess and see if you're right. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's basically the game. Koinobori, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is koi fish used as flags. It's from Japan, and it's actually a pretty neat game where you're filling up these rows with these flags and also trying to put them in front of you. It's not very complex, but it has some pretty interesting decisions that I enjoyed. Octograbo, this one's mostly for kids. You're going to grab stuff with chopsticks. Chip Theory just put out a new version of this. And Tacta is a game in which you are covering cards. You have cards, you have a deck of cards in your hand. You can use either side of it. You will place these cards out, trying to cover up dots on the cards. A little bit of air control, but very light. I think a lot of people are going to like this game from the op. So those were all my 7s. Let's go to the ones that just missed out in the 6.5s. License to Krill. This comes with a stuffed whale, and you're sticking cards in its mouth. And it has some fun puns, good artwork, some nice back and forth, but in reality, it's just kind of this whale in the middle spinning almost randomly, which keeps it from being better, I think. Mythicals. I don't know what it is about this one. This has some really neat aspects to it. It's a 2-player game from Repos, beautiful production, and it has some neat ideas that sometimes when you play a card and someone else has an exact, you might have to give a card to your opponent, but you do that on purpose to get a set. There's some really neat concepts, but it just missed the mark for me with a 6.5. Silos. This is a really wonky game about abducting cows from Reiner Knizia. Well, that's the new version of it. There's some neat stuff here. There's some back and forth. I like it. It just misses for me a little bit with a 6.5. And then Typeset. This is kind of a bingo-esque game in which you're pulling letters from a bag and then people are making words with those and you're filling them in. And do you write short words or do you put out letters hoping to get longer words finished? So there's some neat concepts here. It could look a little better, but it's pretty cool. Those are my 6.5. 6s. These are the games I think are okay. Big Sur. I would love to drive down Big Sur. I've never done it. I would love to go see the scenery, and this game has beautiful artwork. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of wonkiness to it that keeps me from loving it, and it is a little lucky, but it's a pretty little game. Cascadia Jr. This is not a complex game. You're just kind of collecting different things. There's 2 levels to it, like easy and super easy, but even kids, I think, you have to find some young kids. I think even kids will find it just a bit boring. Cat Burglars. This is a really weird game where you have, it's basically a more complicated way to say, am I lying or not? As you say, this card my cats can get. And the more cats you have, the harder it is for someone to call you on it, but also maybe you're lying anyway. It's just a little too weird for it to be great. It's interesting, though. Kimbap. This is a game where you actually will take some sticks and roll up some kimbap. That's the game. There's not much more game to it than that, and if the kimbap rolled better, I might love it more. As it is, it's okay. And Grachenpan, this is a game about building houses. This one, you just kind of turn your brain off, and you just collect some houses, and this house needs 3 cats, and this one needs 6 windows, and you build them up, and someone eventually wins. And then, let's see, we have Loot. This is one of the games that was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. It's okay, although it looks old. I think that's one of the problems. As you put down different tokens, trying to match other tokens, you just go with the flow type game. Morai. This is a game about weaving card combinations together. Again, it's fine. Push. This is one that I was told by other people here in the studio, I think Chris and Z in particular, this whole idea of pushing your luck. I just found it to be kind of this, it was just too random to be a strong push your luck for me. It's okay. 6 out of 10. And Santorini Riddle the Phoenix. I love Santorini. I want to be clear on that. This takes Santorini's pieces and makes a puzzle game. Barely uses the Santorini rules. If you like one, you might not like the other. I think the puzzle part of it's okay. It feels like too many rules for a puzzle game. And then 7 Secret Supervillains, a deck building game where you're trying to get rid of the cards from your hand, and I like that aspect of them, but or use them as the game goes by. So there's some neat stuff there, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't come together as well as I want it to. So those are all my 6s. I have one 5.5. This is Colt, spelled with a V instead of a U. This is a trick-taking game that's just simply too complex. I want to like this one. As you play cards and then you win cards, and then half the cards you win, you'll score now. The other half you'll put in front. There's also ways to... There's just too much going on in this game, but it's interesting, just too much. All right, the 5s. These are games I don't particularly like. Clash of Magic School. This is a remake of an old game called Babel. Except they now added a Harry Potter type theme to it. A terrible theme, by the way. The Babel theme made way more sense. And this meanness of this game mixed with the luck, it just doesn't work at all for me anymore. Paper World. Man, I love the idea of Paper World. It looks interesting. It just feels uber lucky. It's a really pretty game, though. Play 5. Let's mix Scrabble and poker. Or not. It's not very good quality of the game, and it's just too random. There's too many rules about what can be placed next to other things, and it's just kind of the same hand over and over and over again. Not that good of a game. Squirrels. This is another ladder climbing game, except it has, well, not ladder climbing, a card washing game. I don't know. There's many versions of this game where you're playing cards in the middle, and if you can't play any, then you have to take them all into your hand. There's a lot of games like that. There's probably 8 or 9 off the top of my head. But this one also has squirrels, which then just get rid of the cards in the middle. I just play Pig Pile instead. And Treat or Cheat. This is a game in which you are sending different patients to doctors. They're all animals, of course, along with their relatives, and try to get them. There's some really cool concepts in this game, but it's pretty confusing on how the rules are written. And at the end, it doesn't really feel like you made any real meaningful decisions. And then Fate Flipped Washed Ashore. This is a solo game in which you have a bunch of cards. It's Robinson Crusoe-esque. And then you'll make choices, and those choices will cause you to flip cards and turn them upside down. But unfortunately, it causes a disjointed story, and I just kept getting to the same end, and I don't want to keep playing through the game and get to another choice and finally say, okay, let's try this way. It's like holding your finger in those Choose Your Own Adventure books, but you have 10 fingers each. Just wasn't that exciting. So those are all my 5s. Now let's go to the really bad ones, the 4s. Corgi Pile-Up. This is a game in which I don't even know what the choice is. You play your best card, your highest card, or your lowest card. That's it. You're just doing that every round of the game. And only, it has corgis in it, and it feels like they're trying to mask a really bad game. Run, Run, Run. I know that Z and Camille reviewed this. I didn't like this one at all. Bruno Catala is a great designer, but here, a game in which you're placing tiles, but there's also mummies chasing you through, and it sounds exciting, but the placing the tiles is so thinky and strategic, mixed with crazy dice randomness. I just found it to be there was just a big discord between those two, and I didn't like it. Trollympics. Wow. This is like a simultaneous selection game, except some cards just blow other cards up and you don't know what anyone has. And then you're trying to win Olympics by sending a couple fantasy races to them, which is insane zaniness. This is Bruto Fiduti dialed to 11, and I didn't find it to be very fun. So those were all 4s. Then we got a 3 here. Hey, Hey, Relay. This is just roll dice as fast as you can, do stupid stuff. And you're done. How dumb. I hated it. But not as much as the last one here today, which is Uno, Show 'em No Mercy. Now, everyone plays Uno wrong. You can't play a draw 2 on top of a draw 2. Uno No Mercy heard that and said, yeah, you can. And also we have draw 8s and draw 6s. And if you get 25 cards in your hand, you're out of the game. And it's just nonsensical. My son has forced me to play this game several times because he finds it amazing. And I did buy it for him because I knew he would like it. And he can like it. And he can enjoy it. He can rank it a 9 out of 10. But it's actually a 2. So there you go, folks. Basically 14 minutes there to go through all these games. 47 different games. Hey, if you have different opinions on these, let us know in the comments. Tell us. Or if you agree with me, let me know that too. Sometimes it's nice to hear people say I was right, but I might be wrong. Let people know. Like I said, many of these games will get full reviews or partial reviews later on. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Tom Vasel, and it has been 47 games in 14 minutes. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.